everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It's Wise Women's Wednesday. Are you ready? Come on in. I cannot find all my little things. I seem to be missing stuff. Where are you? Who's here? Come on in. The water's fine. It's time to get busy. Here we go. There's Jenny. Hello, Jenny. Hello, hello. Pinkies up. My pinky girls are here. Hi, Yvonne and Denise. Let's see. I have to write things down. I cannot find my little sheet of what I always tell you guys. It's just everywhere. Yolanda's in the house. So Susan. Okay, free mug. We've got the virtual full bloom. Hi, Trisha. What else do we have going on here? Dinner answers. And there's Vanessa, Trisha. Hello, hello, hello. Ladies, come on in. Come on in. I got some things for you today. I hope this computer lasts. I'm using 2 computers right now. I feel really technical. Who's making cream of broccoli soup? Who is doing it? Yvonne is. Yay. Hi, Catherine. Pinky's up. My pinky girls are here. Okay. Okay. Got lots of good stuff for you today. I hope you have paper and pen to take some notes. Hello, Amy. Yeah, that broccoli soup turned out really good, by the way. Everybody, we enjoyed it. We ate it up pretty quickly. Lucy's in the house, and Catherine and Donna. Hello, hello. Come on in. Come on in. Joanne's here. Pinky's up. My pinky girls are here. Trisha's also making the soup. Tomorrow or today, I'm going to make bone broth, you guys. I'm going to make bone broth and show you how to do it exactly start to finish in the pot. I'm going to do it with the Instant Pot. So I think that is going to be really helpful. You know, right now is a good time for doing that. And by the way, you know, ButcherBox is out of everything. ButcherBox is out of everything, which makes me sad because I was going to say, you know, that's a good place to order. But, you know, we do with what we have. So I think it's really wise now. And wise women plan for their households, don't they? I'm going to show you some things. As a matter of fact, I had a little stroll down memory lane. I did a teaching probably 20 years ago, did this whole teaching on the Proverbs 31 woman because, you know, she makes us look a little less industrious than she was back in the day. But I did pull out a verse for you that I think is going to really be super helpful. Let me see, what did I do with it? Yeah, and of course I can't. Gosh, how do I lose things? Yeah, I just do that. I just lose things constantly. Hi, Susan from Portland is here in the house. Well, I'll tell you, I will find it. A Bible verse that we're going to use today is Proverbs 31:15. She rises while it's still night to provide food for her households and portions for her maidservants. You know, I have to tell you about this too, because, you know, a lot of people say, well, we don't have maidservants. And I'm going to tell you what I think those portions are. I think those portions are for our indentured servants, which are dishwasher, our washing machine. Portions for them right now, today in 21st century translation is she's got her laundry detergent, she's got her dishwashing detergent, she's got her stuff laid out. So I'm just looking at it from the perspective of how do we become wise in this crazy time that we're living, because this is not normal, right? This is our new normal, but it's not our usual normal. So anyway, I just want to kind of bring that all in and share with you some things that I think are truly going to be helpful. And I'm going to teach you how in 5 steps to do some menu planning. And also I'm going to invite you for $10 a month to consider getting our dinner answers. Now you can do it for the whole year or whatever, and get it for $97 and save a few bucks, or you can just do it for $10 a month and get the style in which you eat. Plus, I'm here to help you with any substitutions and what have you. And people are doing a lot of things to like Patreon and buy Leanne a cup of coffee. I'm actually signed up for that to help support our businesses as we are going through these dips, as you can well understand. Anyway, but I'm just saying, if you want to support Saving Dinner, consider becoming a Dinner Answers member. With that membership, you get all of our menus. You have access to everything. It is a proprietary menu planning system that we've been doing for 19 years. So I'll invite you to become a Dinner Answers supporter, and in exchange, you are going to get menus, recipes, and shopping lists every single week in the way that you eat. So that's how you do it. How do you buy me a coffee? I will, if I decide to do that, I will put it up on my page. But it's basically being a supporter of Saving Dinner. We've been in business for almost 20 years, and I don't plan on going anywhere. I want to stay in business. I want to stay with our personnel that we have right now. I don't want to change a thing. And it's not the normal right now. This is not normal. But my whole thing is my biggest thing right now is, how can I be of service? How can I help people with the things that I know to do better at home? Because food right now is, it's like all anybody's talking about. I was listening to somebody was talking about this on the news, and they were saying, well, the reason the grocery stores, it's not the supply chain, it's that the demand on the grocery stores are 3 times what it usually is, because people eat out a lot. For us, for Mark and I, we have pretty much, this is our normal. Our normal is we stay in a lot, we cook every day, and this is our normal. But what's changed is what is normal for the whole world. So our whole thing is, I want to make sure that natural and easy and normal for me, and things that I do all the time, is something that I can teach you how to do too, because this skill has turned in to be extremely important, and it helps to know these things and to understand these things. I can teach you certain stuff that's going to help you to become wiser with what you already have on hand, and how you can make some substitutions and all this different stuff. And that's my whole thing, is I want to equip you. I want to help you. I want to make sure that you're not falling down and worried. Okay. Our verse, or our quote of the week is this: nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood, because now is the time to understand more so that we can fear less. Hello. Thank you, Marie Curie. Isn't she so wonderful? Think about this. This is done in the 19th century. She's saying this, and how apropos for right now today. When we're wise women, we are looking toward our household. How do we provide for our household? How do we get food on the table, and that we're not running for the MREs and and heading for the hills? I don't want you guys digging in the back of your cupboard and finding little grains of rice and what have you. I want you to get through this in a way that is uplifting, and a way that you can actually create memories for your family. And we don't have to have a spirit of fear. We talked about this yesterday. We don't have to have that spirit of fear, right? We just need to have understanding right now. We don't have to have a spirit of fear. So we're going to be looking at providing for our food for our household. How do we do that? And this is something, everybody looks at you, everybody says, hey mom, what's for dinner? And we pretty much, we balance things a lot. I do most of the cooking here, but Mark makes breakfast every morning. And I also want to talk about that a little bit, because, usually and like fasting, doing all these things. I'm not even worried about that stuff right now. I'm not worried so much about that stuff. I am still taking care of myself. Of course, I'm still exercising. I'm still doing these different things. It wasn't just as, rat-a-tat-a-tat as it was before. But, and I'm still for sure going the 12 hours in between the last time I ate, more than that, because we'll eat about 6 o'clock. We're eating a lot earlier now because I'm preparing dinner usually at 4 for cooking lessons. So we have things on hand, and we are eating earlier. We're eating about 6 o'clock, and then, usually having breakfast around 8. So that gives me a good 14-hour window. But I'm saying, you know what? I want breakfast this morning, and I want you to cook it, Mark. And he obliges. He cooks breakfast every morning. And maybe one time for cooking lessons, I'll have him make breakfast, and we'll have breakfast for dinner or something. But I'll show you he makes a really good breakfast. And but all of these little things, and being able to put things out on the table at one time. And if this is something that you're not used to, I'm certainly not here to, cook shame you or whatever kind of shaming you want to call that. I'm trying to bring you to the place of making you feel confident, making you feel like you have the ability to do this, and making you feel wise, because we need to be looking to our pantries. We need to be prepared that if we go to the grocery store, they might be out of something. And this is not the end of the world. It's not like we live in a communist country and the supply chain is broken and we might not see this again. We just need to be looking at what can we do with what we have. So I'm going to take you through 5 basics of menu planning. Let me grab my other computer and put this here so that you guys can see it. And I'm going to go through it right now. So you ready to write it down? Yeah, wouldn't you love that? Mark and Leanne Breakfast Video Hour. Oh, and I will be on the other side of the video camera, and I will be ruthless. Totally ruthless. Don't you think that would be a good thing? Because he distracts me all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? He doesn't know. But I can keep this going. So here is the first and foremost what you need to do, okay, as your menu planning. And I'm going to give you these 5 things, and we're going to balance them all off. Oh, and I haven't even given you all the announcements yet. Well, let's go with this. We'll start with this, and then we'll talk announcements. I'm all over the place. All right, first things first. Menu planning is, if you have, you've got to sit down with the family, first of all. If you've got a freezer full of a bunch of food that they're not going to eat, this is going to get difficult. But I'm going to also implore parents that right now is a good time to train your children's palates, okay? And by that I mean, it sometimes takes, and this is what they tell us, that these experts who on children and eating say that it sometimes takes 6 to 10 times of tasting something before they'll finally, go along with the ride. Now, that's not to say that there's some people who have some people and some children who have an extra sensitive palate and just think that this is the worst thing in the world and that you're trying to poison them by giving them a vegetable, for example. My whole thing has always been, you never, ever, ever need to be a shrew when you're teaching your children how to eat their vegetables, for example. Also, don't do it the way that our parents did it. When I was growing up, you sat at the dinner table until that food was eaten. And you heard about the starving children in Africa and, on and on and on. It doesn't help that my dad was British, and he was raised in wartime Britain and remembers running for bomb shelters when they were bombing, down and all of that. That's how he grew up. And then also there was a lot of food shortages and what have you. So let me tell you, food did not go to waste in our house. And I had a lecture city about eating the overcooked Brussels sprouts that had been cooking on the stovetop for 30 minutes. Disgusting. That's why I never liked vegetables growing up. And it wasn't until I was pregnant with my daughter when I finally decided, well, I think I need to eat vegetables now. The only thing that would pass my lips was a salad. But I would not eat a vegetable simply because they were so overcooked in my house. That was the way my dad liked them. So that's how they got done, right? Anyway, but training your children to eat vegetables is one of the best skills that you can pass on to them. What I have found as a mother, as a nutritionist, and as somebody who has written 10 cookbooks and done, absolutely everything and spoken all over Kingdom Come about teaching and change and helping children to become good eaters. And that is that you keep introducing it. Keep introducing it. And you do it a little different every time. And you also reward the good behavior, and you don't make any kind of commentary about the poor behavior. And you don't have to have anything in line. Or let's say if they decide, I'm just not going to, I'm not going to eat this. You don't have to go and say, well, then I'll make you a peanut butter sandwich. They will not fall down in a faint because they didn't have the peanut butter sandwich. And they've, at that point, have trained you on how it is that they're going to eat. Okay, got that? This is important stuff. Their palate depends on it. You don't want them going to a business meeting asking for chicken nuggets and French fries when they're 30 years old because they won't eat anything. They need to have trained palates. They need to understand what salmon is. And I call that, junky garbage food that they feed kids. I call that dumbed down food. Kids don't need to have special food. They need to have the same food that you're eating, and now is a good time to teach them. So if we're giving our kids corn dogs and French fries and corn, as their vegetable, first of all, there's no nutrition there. You are filling a hole. You're not feeding them their souls. You're not feeding them the nutrition. And second of all, that's gonna ruin them. That's gonna ruin their palate for just highly processed foods, and it's just not healthy. So you would keep introducing, and you bring them in, and you keep introducing, and you bring them in, and you bring them into the kitchen. You get them to help. You show them how to do it. There's little cutting knives and stuff that you can buy now on Amazon. It'll probably take you a couple of weeks to get it at this point, but they do have child-friendly cutting implements. I found at 7 years old, my son would not eat a salad to save his life. You know what I did? I brought him into the kitchen. I helped him create his own salad. He chopped, he did all the things. And at that dinner table, he ate 3 portions of salad because he had hands-on nutrition. He did it himself. And these are the things that we can change our children's trajectory for their health, because this is an important tool. Being able to eat healthy is what is going to really kind of project what your health is going to be in the future, because what you eat is who you become. And you don't want to be built by junk food. You want to be built by real food that has real value. End of lecture. So here we go. Let's reverse engineer what it is that you can do to build your family up and to feed them good, real food, because you have to. Many restaurants are closed right now, and takeout for a family is going to get real expensive after a long time. So what can you do? What do you have on hand? The first thing you should do is sit down with the family and just say, okay, so what do we like? And write it all down. I am like the queen of lists. Get out the paper, get out the pencil, and start writing down. Hamburgers, great. Hamburgers one night, great. Do hamburgers and do some green beans and do some salad too, or whatever it is that you can have. But do something along the lines of making sure that things that they like are always on their plate. Always have something on their plate, and then ask them as well to try something else. So if you've got food sensitivities to deal with, and allergies or whatever, kind of start cobbling together things that they like. And if one of your kids says, well, I like Thanksgiving, well, of course, you can do that with a roast chicken and call it a mini Thanksgiving. And I did a video on how to do a roast chicken, so do that. You can make some stuffing out of some leftover bread and what have you. But there are things that we can do. And now that we have the time to do it, wouldn't it be fun to bring the kids together into the kitchen and start teaching them how to cook? I think a wise woman would do that, because she's looking toward her household and how she can provide for them, right? So providing for your children is also providing skills. It's providing a mindset. And for you right now, it's knowing how to menu plan. It's not feeling paralyzed, like, oh my gosh, because listen, every night they're going to want to eat. I promise you, they're going to want to eat. And there's only so far you can go with frozen waffles and scrambled eggs. You know, you can do breakfast for dinner only so many times, and they're going to start wanting dinner. So let's get busy with what they can do. Ask everybody, what would you like to see on the menu every week? Now, what you can do is you can do a changing menu. And I would say not every 5 days, but maybe every 10 days, get a good 10 ideas out there and kind of rotate through that. I also like to do, and I've got tons of menu plans. I'll tell you all about them too, you know, during our time today at cooking lessons. But, you know, being able to take something and stretch it out and like have that meatloaf, and then the next day give meatloaf sandwiches for lunch. The next day chop up some meatloaf and throw it in some soup, and now you've got a full meal. Whatever it is, there are certain things that are sort of, I would say, should be the cornerstones of your menu planning, especially right now, because you know the weather still hasn't quite changed. I mean, in some parts of the country it might be a little bit warmer, but it's still a little coolish, and soups are really wonderful things. And if you put some protein and some leftover protein in those vegetable soups, you've got a full meal. And I used to do that all the time. I mean, I practically lived on that. I used to call them single girl meals, but it's just really a fun and easy way to do something. What do they want to see on the menu? Ask them that every time. And then create menus with a mindful approach to the ingredients. So here's an idea. So let's say you have some fresh cilantro in the refrigerator and you're making guacamole for your tacos. Maybe yesterday was Taco Tuesday. We made tacos. I showed you how to make, shredded chicken tacos yesterday. And let's say you have some leftover cilantro. Well, now how else can you use that? Well, you can make a cilantro pesto. How do you do that? It's easy. It's just like making regular pesto, but you use cilantro instead. What can you do? What else can you do with it? You could chop it up and put it in salad dressing. You could add it into a soup. You can chop it up and put it in a little bit of water with some ice, a little bit of water, and put it in ice cube trays, and now you've saved it. In other words, nothing should go to waste. Right now, anything going to waste it's worse than flushing money down the toilet. It's taking food out of your family's mouths. We have to be really respectful of what's going on in the food chain out there, in the supply chain, and we need to bring that home. And right now, saving every little thing is a great big deal. You saw me yesterday when I made that shredded chicken. You saw that I had this much, probably a cup and a half of chicken broth that was left over with all the taco seasoning and everything. I saved that. I did not pour it off and throw it out. I saved it and threw it in the refrigerator. That is going to become a taco soup. Easy. You just add it to the rest of the bone broth, some of the vegetables. You can throw some chips in there and some meat and some cheese, and boom, what do you have? You have a wonderful meal in a bowl. Very simple. The other thing that you need to do is keep in mind that your delicate produce is going to fall apart faster. So your tubs of baby spinach, your salads and what have you, make a lot of salad at the very beginning of the week because it will fall apart at the end. And you don't want that to happen. And if it does start to happen, then look for ways that you can go through, fish through it, wash it off, and run it through the salad spinach. Even if it's past its supposed date, what I do is I just go through, I hand pick all of it. I give it I throw it in the salad spinner and I spin the and get it, to the point where it's like it's going to hold up and you can get some more use out of it. I never say use something that's like ew and stinky. If you take the top off and it smells like, grass clippings in the compost bin, you need to dump it. But let's try not to let anything, like I said, like anything go to waste. When you're at the grocery store, instead of buying just, 3 onions, buy 6 and keep them in a cool place and keep them away from potatoes, keep them away from apples as well, because they will last long. Just keep them in a cool, dark place. So that's something else that you can do. Um, we need to also be looking at, and you guys, this is just a simple thing, but it is also what I consider a wise woman's thing, and that is to present the meal beautifully. We can do that. We have our dinner plates. Pull out your dinner plate, and if you have like beige, beige, and beige on a beige plate, you've got chicken, cauliflower, and a potato. That's pretty sad looking. Some beautiful color, you know, having some beautiful color. And so save the cauliflower for maybe the salmon. And then you see, you've got salmon, you see the colors and all the, having all those colors on there. Look to put something green on the plate every single meal, as much as you possibly can, because green is, that's telling your body's cells that you're going to be fed. That's going to fire up your mitochondria, and your mitochondria is the energy plant basically for each cell. And if you've got sluggish mitochondria in every single cell, you've got a sluggish you. We need you to have your energy right now. You are basically in charge of feeding this family, and they need you, and they need your energy there. The other thing is to keep things flexible. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about with that. If you have a recipe, and with my recipes, this is especially true with my recipes. I don't know, I can't say that about everybody else's. And this is all we can do. If you see a lot of recipes where it says, you know, use a tomahawk pork chop, for example, for example, we've got one of those recipes, and you're saying, well, I just don't have tomahawk pork chops. Okay, but do you have pork chops, or do you have pork, or do you have whatever? Then use that. You can use any kind of meat. Let's say you just say, well, that looks like a good recipe, but I don't have any pork. Do you have chicken? You can substitute chicken at any point for pork. Or you could say, you know, I just don't eat pork. So then, there it is. So there's ways to do it. If you see a recipe that you think, you know, that salmon sure looks good, but I don't have any salmon. What do you have? You've got some cod? Do the cod recipe do the salmon recipe, but use cod instead. Start getting really wise with some of those substitutions. If you don't have the, you don't have like the understanding of what I can do, what can I do for a substitution? You know what? Put it out here. Put it out we have a Daily Dish newsletter, and we also have the Daily Dish Facebook group right here and Saving Dinner group right here. Just put a thing out. What would you substitute for, salmon? Or what would you substitute? I don't have any marjoram. What would I substitute for that? And we will come to your aid and help you out with that, because there is always substitute things. So for example, let's say if the recipe is calling for beef broth, you don't have any. I'm going to tell you right now, chicken broth works. And I did this for beef stew. I had a recipe that was just, calling for beef broth. I didn't have any. I used my chicken bone broth. That was the best beef stew I've ever made. And it was with chicken broth. Don't tell the beef. I'm sure the beef was ticked off because I was mixing animals. Who cares? But the basics for menu planning are starting with the protein. Start with your protein and then look at what do you have. Best you can, rotate your stock. You've got some frozen broccoli, a nice roasted, use that. If you've got leftover roasted broccoli, do not throw it out. Make it into soup. If you've got leftover anything, don't throw them out. Make it into soup. We have the ability to stretch our family's grocery dollars like never before. We also have the ability to get super creative, even with recipes. And that's my whole thing, is I want you to be able to, help your family to eat the very, very best that they can eat. I also want to help you become the best menu planner you can possibly be. Now, dinner answers, which everybody should get that. If you go to savingdinner.com and just get our dinner answers, get our daily dish, you will get a sample of and it comes in any way that you want to eat. Vegan, vegetarian, low carb, paleo, name that tune. However it is that you keto, however you eat, family classic style, It's all right there. And you are supporting Saving Dinner at the same time. And we will help you with any substitutions that you need. And I would just say it's $10 a month. $10 a month get you access to absolutely our entire database. And this is what we do. This is our whole thing. We've been doing this for 19 years. We've kind of got it down to a science. We kind of know what we're doing here. And all I'm saying to you is that right now, every single day, you've got your people asking you, Mom, what's for dinner? Am I right? That's the highlight of the day. We're in, you guys. We're in these four walls. We live in our homes, and dinner is like the big deal now. So why not have a dinner plan that's going to take into consideration everything that you have? And while you can, use Instacart, use Walmart's grocery delivery, any kind of delivery system that you can, and keep yourself out of the grocery stores and get these supplies in hand. I'll show you how to put together, and I'll do that today. You know, if you want to, I'll open up my spice drawer and show you what kind of spices you should have. Now, I've got everything under the sun, but I'll show you the basics, things that you should have, because that's where people fall apart. I hear about it all the time. I just don't know I don't know what kind of spices to use. Well, that's why a menu plan like Dinner Answers would work really well for you. And for $10 a month, I mean, having access to every single recipe that we've ever had at Dinner Answers, that's a pretty good deal. And it's going to give you a lot of ideas and a lot of help. And these cooking classes that we're doing, these are going to help you out as well. And I'm doing them for free. And I'm doing it because I want to make sure that you're not feeling hopeless in the kitchen. I don't want you going in there and just feeling hopeless. I had a girlfriend years ago. I mean, years and years and years ago. I'm going to say probably close to 25 years ago. And she had always had, her husband went through a change of employment, shall we say, and now suddenly she had to clean her own house. She had no idea what she was doing. And so she went into the bathroom, you know, and I was like, I think you should start it. She started cleaning out her closet. And I said, let's start with the bathrooms, which smelled. And I was just trying to be kind and help her out. And I said, let's do the bathroom. She took a whole can of Comet and put it all over the floor. And that's what I feel. Needless to say, we went and got a vacuum, and I started from the beginning and explained how, and showed her how to clean a bathroom. But, and this is way before Fly Lady. This is way before, you know, any of this stuff. My children were very, very small. So were hers. And it was just, she was coming from the place of not knowing what to do and thinking, well, Comet cleans, so therefore I must, you know, put a half a can on the floor. That should do the trick. And it, you know, it didn't. And I showed her what to do. Well, sometimes there are people that are going into the kitchen and basically dropping half a can of Comet all over their floors because they don't know what to do. I had a woman one time who told me that she didn't understand how my recipes save time. And I had to keep asking her and asking her and asking her why it was taking her 30 minutes to prepare this recipe. And finally, exasperated, she broke down all the steps. And what she was doing was taking an onion, taking one slice at a time, and then chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping that one slice. Then she took another slice and chopped and chopped and chopped, then chopped and chopped and chopped it again. And that was because she didn't understand about knife skills. So there are skills and there are things that we can do, and I can explain all of that, and that's what I'm doing all the time when I am going through, you know, when I'm doing the cooking classes. I'm going to teach you every single skill that I can possibly think of that'll help you to be better in the kitchen. But this is a time where we can really learn how to do this and menu plan well and be those wise women who are looking out for our households and keeping our families fed, keeping the appliances working full time, and really, you know, just doing the very, very best that we can do. It is not, it might seem overwhelming to you. It might seem intimidating a little bit, but it is nothing more than one meal at a time. and having the things that we need on hand in order to support that meal making. And there's some basic things that you need, like onions and garlic and some spices, some salt and pepper, some good oil to cook with, butter, eggs, just different things. And then there's things that you're just going to need to buy on a fresh basis as much as you possibly can, with a backup of some frozen as well. And I showed you how to make frozen vegetables tasty, so you can always look through all of our videos. But that's all I wanted to talk to you about today, is that just how, as wise women, we need to be looking toward our household and being able to support our household in any way that we can. It could be my Wi-Fi. We've been having Wi-Fi trouble, so if you're having problems with this broadcast, I'm doing the best that I can on my end. But we've been having blinking off and on. I think all Wi-Fis right now, because everybody's on the internet and home, are getting overloaded. That's all I can say. That's all I can think of. So I hope that was you found that helpful. But, start with your family, with what they like, and then build from there. A side dish, if you're into eating starches and what have you, whatever starch looks good to you, potatoes, rice, pasta. Get some kind of a green vegetable on that plate as much as you possibly can. And then if you have fresh stuff, like fresh salad, that salad is going to be the first thing to go. Broccoli, cabbage way later on. So make sure that those are some of the vegetables, by the way, that I would really suggest that you buy are the heartier cruciferous vegetables, because they're so much easier to hold on to for weeks. And like with your celery, for example, take your celery out of the packaging or out of the bag, cut the root end off, and then wrap it up in foil. It will last for weeks and weeks and won't go floppy and awful. But those are some of the things that we can do to, stretch this stuff out and make everything work for us. But let's start using some of the basics of what we can do. Everybody's going to want to have something for lunch as well. If you can make a big vat of soup, we've got Leanne's Mighty Mitochondria soup on the Saving Dinner site. Go to savingdinner.com and just put in mitochondria or soups, and you'll get that recipe. If you can make a big vat of that, there's a lot of variations on that theme as well, on how to make it like Mexican soup, how to make it like just different flavors like an Italian soup, and different things. You can beef it up to make a minestrone soup and different things. That would be a really good basic to have for soups for your family. Blend it up, make it a cream soup, all kinds of things. And you can make all this stuff really super easy, okay? So there you go. Now, I want you to do this for me too. I want you to make your lists and write down all the things that your family will eat right now, and start that as your basic menu plan. I also want you to go to savingdinner.com and get dinner answers. Support Saving Dinner. This one will help us support, you will help us be supported here at Saving Dinner, keeping us in business. And the other thing that you're going to do is you're going to help your family eat better and well-planned meals. We've got your back. I appreciate that you have ours. And I'm telling you, we're all going to get through this together, because we are wise women. This is what we do. This is how we roll. Lots of practical application, but we're not going to live in fear. No, we're not going to live in fear. We are going to live knowing that we are taken care of, that our families are taken care of, and that we know what to do, because we are those wise women. I will see you at 4 p.m. for cooking classes. Oh, and don't forget, tomorrow night, too, is our webinar. We've got a big webinar tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to sign up for it, go to savingdinner.com/webinar. And I'm going to be talking about this whole concept. If you saw the alignment series, this is basically taking it from there. And I'm going to build out that whole concept of how we can be in alignment. Also, we have supplements are all ordered, you guys. They are going to be shipping them in the next couple of days. I am telling you, I love my new supplement company, the formulator. Those guys have just been absolutely awesome. But I appreciate all of your patience. We will have everything there for you. It's all on its way in. Stay patient with us. This mindful mug with our glycozyme, you want that. Glycozyme gets you free shipping. Ships free is what you put in there. And just order a bunch. Get yourself stocked up. This is where you can get stocked up. I appreciate you guys. I will see you at 4 p.m. Peace out. Peace be with you. And go bless your family. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.